In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Lions took a lot of criticism by drafting, really, Jahmyr Gibbs was the main guy that got criticism for, but it kind of became a pile-on when they also drafted Jack Campbell, a guy who was projected to go kind of late first round, early second round, a little bit earlier than people had, mostly thought he should go. Personally, for me, though, I actually kind of liked the pick. They needed a linebacker, I thought, and getting a guy who should be pretty pro-ready right off the bat should add a lot of value. That being said, he was drafted and didn't really look pro-ready. He struggled to get playing time, and when he did, if you like PFF grades, for example, those weren't particularly great. But again, when I want to make a film study on someone, I'm not going to just look at PFF grades, and I'm not just going to look at what the narratives are. I'm going to sit down, watch the film, and come up with my own conclusion, and that's what I did with Jack Campbell. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how good is he as a player, what are some areas he can improve upon, but also what can he be going into his second year, where I think the Lions are hopeful he can be an every down starter, if not an every down star. So let's just get into it. Let's start off with a play like this. We're going to show the 49ers game where he actually got a pretty decent amount of playing time here. And this is something I felt like I saw a good amount of from Campbell in, good and bad ways. So you have a guard who's going to go up to block him at the next level. It's going to be a running play. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Purdy is going to hand the football off, actually more of a pitch, to McCaffrey. And you see the offensive lineman does a pretty good job at getting to the next level quickly and getting in position to block Campbell. That is just something that we saw happen and kind of makes some sense for a young linebacker, right? I mean, the game moves so much faster at the NFL level when your position is so much predicated on making the correct read. It's going to be tough to do that right away, right out of the gate, right? It just is. However, it kind of happens off screen, but he eventually gets around this block, and he was the one who made the tackle right there. So while he would often get himself in bad situations, and I could see that, sometimes the PFF grades won't be so high when you're getting yourself in bad situations, he could also get himself out of those bad situations just as frequently, which is what makes him a bit of an interesting player. It's fascinating because he was considered to be a pro-ready guy, right? That's what people liked about him. That's what I liked about him is, he could be a contributor right away. I think when the Lions drafted Campbell, part of what they were thinking is we want him to be a contributor right away. Didn't fully work out, although again, he played over 40 snaps in a conference championship game, so he certainly was a contributor. But I think part of the concern people might have is, supposed to be pro-ready, and he's not. If he's part of what his selling point was is how good of reads he makes. Well, if that's not enough to be good at the NFL level, then is he just screwed? Well, I would say no, because I still think that there's room for improvement there, and it's not that crazy for me that a linebacker who's good at that in college might still take a year or two to be good at that at the NFL level. Because we saw stuff like this, where this is going to be a zone coverage play. You see the concept on the screen, and also you see Campbell's zone, the one and white. That's where Campbell's supposed to cover. You notice there's a receiver, Brandon Ayuk, running over the top. So for Campbell, he is going to have to try and make an impact on this play. And as you see, I would say he's doing a pretty good job at this. He's getting in position to make this throw. Is there still a window for this throw to be made? I would say so, yeah. But your job usually isn't, especially in zone coverage as a linebacker, to completely cover a guy up to the point where a throw shouldn't even be made there. A lot of times it's just to make the throw more difficult. It's like basketball, right? The goal isn't always to actually block the shot, but just make the player have to shoot over you. Make it a tougher situation where you might miss the throw. That's what happens here. Purdy does miss that throw. And again, maybe he would have missed it if there were no Lions around, but I doubt it. I think part of what happened was it was a tougher window to make the throw, and it wasn't able to be made in part because of what Campbell can do. And also, going over here, you would see some really strong flashes of good play from Campbell, smart reads from Campbell, stuff like this. It's going to be a run towards the offense's left. Pay no attention to the Lions player who's circled in yellow. That is not Campbell. That's just the broadcast circled someone in yellow as I wanted to take the screenshot. That's where Campbell is. So he's the one in white. Let's see what happens. Watch him quickly move in, and he, read that play so quickly. He was probably just guessing running play, but usually these are educated guesses, and because of that, he was able to make a splash play. And this is the stuff we saw him do in college, and towards the end of the year, maybe we saw this happen a little bit more frequently. And if that is the case, then you could have some real value. Of course, you have to be careful. Don't want to get yourself out of position with play actions and stuff like that. But there's definitely reason to be excited about this kind of thing if you're a Lions fan, because you would see this. All of that being said, we can go over here. Campbell is not without his flaws as a player. He just isn't. Something like this, what's going to happen is you see where he is on the field. It's going to be a wide receiver screen. This is something that was talked about coming out of college, and I think fairly so. When this play begins, you're going to see him move in right here, but it's not a rushing play. This is going to be a passing play to the wide receiver, right? It actually looked a little bit like Campbell first bit on the play action, but then because he was a little bit out of position, it's just going to try and hit Purdy and just going to rush the passer. That's the decision he's making, but is quickly going to realize, and I wouldn't even say that quickly, but he eventually is going to realize that this is actually going to be a throw going towards Deebo Samuel, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Okay, again, a hair late on this read. No big deal. You are a rookie linebacker. He's also not the fastest linebacker, though. You're going to see that he is, even with a player slowing down, Samuel is able to make the tackle, but not before it's right around that first down marker. He just, he doesn't have the speed other guys do. It is what it is. So, again, what you hope to happen, though, is that he starts making these reads a little bit quicker, and then maybe not being the fastest linebacker doesn't matter as much. Also, play like this wasn't great. No real overarching theme behind it. Just I wanted to show a play that wasn't great, really, because I was watching the film of this game, and thought, yeah, this is probably worth mentioning. This is a huge spot in the game. The Lions are down 3 points with under 5 minutes left. If the Lions can get a stop here, that gives them another opportunity, and with this Lions offense, totally reasonable to believe they could tie the game, if not take the lead, if they get one more drive. And Jack Campbell is understandably in a bit of a tough situation here. He's essentially lined up as a defensive tackle. There's only 3 defensive linemen on the field, and they're kind of trying to, sell us that it could be doing several different things. Is there a blitz? And if so, where is it coming from? You're going to see that Jack Campbell is going to, rush the passer here. He kind of does a spin move towards the middle of the field, which it just didn't work out. He tried to move. It did not work out. And because of that, you're going to see Purdy is able to scramble outside and, picks up a big gain, actually. And that led to the touchdown drive that really iced the game for the Lions. Is it a fair criticism to point to Jack Campbell and say, wow, you maybe don't have the versatility to be a defensive tackle? I don't know, especially not as a rookie. It was a mistake, though, and it was a key mistake and a big part in the game. So, as a whole, there's some polishing up that needs to go on with Campbell. There is. That being said, I thought his tape was pretty good last year, considering that. Like, again, was it great? If he was in his 10th year, would you be looking at him and saying he's great? No. But for a rookie, he did a lot of nice things, and I think it's reasonable to expect he should at least be an every down starter next year. So, again, the numbers are the numbers, the stats are the stats, whatever. I think there's a lot of value in Campbell, and I certainly have not given up on him by any means so far. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.